Hi, Mark.
Good evening.
Good
I
evening.
see
How are
it's
you?
still light over there in the Netherlands. Over
It
here, it's
is. It
already
is.
dark.
Well, we had last weekend we had we went to summertime,
Yeah,
so we have an extra hour of light.
yeah. We went
So
to summertime too here down south, but it's dark anyway.
okay, well that's a pity then.
Yeah,
Um, well, let's talk about the new album. It's been 4 years since your previous album. No, a lot of things have happened. Can I say that the most important thing that has happened the last few years is well the birth of your daughter?
yeah. That's the most important. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
number one.
Number one. Was it done on purpose? I mean, the gap of 4 years for you maybe to have an extension of your family, or was it
Oh no, no.
coincidental?
I just think that we take more our time nowadays. Back in the days, it was more like every 2 years a new album. But now also with the side steps we did, like the Alchemy Project, that was also almost like an album, at least as much work as an album would have been. So that doesn't count for a studio album, but still it's kind of an album work-wise. So if you look at it like that, it's still every 2 years, the last few years, and kind of album. But studio album wise, yeah, it's 4 years, and that was done on purpose to first do a sidestep, do something different, work with different musicians, do some experiments. Because if we just hop from one album to the other, that can happen that you start getting bored by it, and we want to avoid that at every cost.
Yeah. And what did you learn? Well, from those from a project, what did you bring that you learned from the project? What did you bring into this new album?
Oh, quite a lot actually. First of all, to that the experimental part that fans accepted that very well because we played many of these songs in the set list worked pretty well. Secondly, we recorded that album completely different, more like in a live vibe with guitar, bass, and drums in the same room playing together. That worked so well with the Alchemy Project that we kept on doing that for the new album. And yeah, it was really refreshing to work also with other musicians. But on with the new album, we wanted to work just with the six of us plus the producer. So we used the Alchemy Project for working with all kinds of different people, and the new album was then that we didn't take that from the Alchemy Project to this, but it's actually the counter of it. We worked with just the six of us with the producer.
What did you learn from well the working with the six of you when you did the Alchemy project? What in hindsight did you appreciate from just being with the six of you?
Yeah, that you really use each other's qualities to the max, because it's easy to work with other musicians, and then there's so many quality persons out there, but actually when we look inside, we realized how much quality we actually have in our band itself as well. So
Yeah.
we have already like 5 songwriters, and also each and every one of us has their own unique qualities what they bring to the table, and there's not more needed than that. When everybody is on fire, the six of us can do wonders, and that's what we were on fire. We wanted to do it like this, and it worked very well.
Yeah. What was the first song that you wrote for this new album?
Well, it's not really one song that we wrote for the album. It's more like the first time we came together, we brought all our demos that we had already written by ourselves, and we started listening to each other's songs. And so there was already quite some material written. So it's really hard to say which of all these demos was actually the first. But I even don't remember which of my own songs was the first one that I wrote. So that's already so long ago.
No, I mean take us to the moment that you actually was set together and all listen to each other's demos. Um, what can you name one demo that really struck you that you thought, well, this is going to be maybe the direction of the new album, not maybe from yourself, but maybe from another songwriter within the band?
No, actually, the good thing is that everybody has their own way of writing, and it sounds so diverse, and that's the strength, I think. So there was not really one specific song that caught my attention, and I thought, okay, this is the direction. It's more like the whole palette of different songs and different sounds that when it comes together, then somehow we always manage to make it sound Epica. And for example, there was this song Aspiral that also became the album title, which was pretty different. And Rob wrote it initially as a kind of soundtrack for a sculpture by Sokolsky. And he said, if you guys think it fits with Epica, we use it for Epica, but otherwise I use it for something else. But right away we thought, wow, this sounds so great. And even though it's so different, somehow it will find its way. And it did. So at the end of the album, when you have had the whole album, then you still get Aspiral. It feels a bit like the cherry on the cake to me. And then when that song is done, it leaves you speechless. And that's also what this album does. It goes in all directions, but at the end it calms down and then it leaves you speechless. I hope at least with other people it has the same effect.
Well, the thing is, I think the album is pretty diverse indeed, and I also thought some songs are really more to the core. I mean, it's not like say it's rock and roll, but it's based around a certain riff or certain theme.
Yeah.
And well, let's first stick to the Aspiral. Well, why did you call the album Aspiral then? Because of, well, like you were saying, the cherry on the cake?
Yeah, the reason why we called it Aspiral was because we were brainstorming about the album title, and we had all the lyrics written at that point. And then I thought, yeah, Aspiral actually is like the top of the pyramid that covers all the lyrics. So it doesn't matter if it's a ballad that's called Aspiral. The name itself covers all the lyrics. And then I presented it to the rest of the band because I came up first with that connection. And everybody said, yeah, that works really well. And with Omega, we had already an album with just one word. Now we continue that with Aspiral.
Okay. What do you mean with it, Aspiral? What do you want? What is the lyrical theme that you want the album to have?
Yeah, Aspiral, the song itself, it's referring to renewal and inspiration. But a spiral can mean so many things with literally a spiral. And when you have like a certain level of humanity, of wisdom, and you go to the next level, you spiral or spiral up, so to say. And everything in the universe is spirals. So everything circles and spirals, and even life and death. It's like a life circle, and then maybe you spiral to the next life. Who knows? And so, in fact, yeah, when you look at it like that, then it covers literally all the lyrics, because lyrics also deal about these kind of topics on its own.
Yeah. Well, and there are also certain, you have some, I've written down here some questions, so that's why I look that way. A New Age Dance, you have 3 parts of that, well, that's the name of the cycle then.
Yeah.
Why 3? Well, let's first do the first one, Darkness Dies in Light. When do you decide that this is for a New Age Dance theme? When did you decide it?
Yeah, that also came very late in the process, that I suddenly realized, wow, wait, that this has a lot to do with a New Age dance. And there's also the last song of the cycle has kind of a reference music-wise with Design Your Universe, the song. And that's also a New Age dance one. So also musically and lyrically, it has quite some connection. And then I suddenly realized, wow, yeah, maybe this is the moment to finish that cycle. Because at a certain point, I already gave up on the idea that it would ever be finished, because it never worked, it never did fit. But now suddenly, somehow, it was there. The whole thing was there. I just had to make the puzzle fit in the end.
See it.
Yeah, see it myself.
Well, for people who don't know, why did you start a New Age dance, and well, why is it well spread out on many albums? What is your thought behind it?
Yeah, the thought behind this is that we as humanity are on the verge, on the edge of a big step in evolution, a big step forward in consciousness. And I think that now the current times, they are very chaotic, and always chaotic times, they come first, and then a big leap forward has been made. Of course, it can go many directions, but I have the feeling that we as humanity can make that big step forward, and that's the main theme of the cycles. But it's also dealing about big changes on personal level. So it can be for humanity on a whole, but also on a personal level at the same time.
What was the last step that we made, the big step that we made as mankind?
We're making it, I think.
No, but I mean the previous one.
Oh, that I think we must go already back before we even can remember. I think we are a very long time on the same level already with our ups and downs, but now something is accelerating. At least intuitively, I feel that something is going on now, something big. And like I said, in the past we had also wars and learned from things, but now it's also the whole climate is changing fast, and there's something boiling. And I think somehow there's something big gonna happen. It can go many ways, or in a worst case scenario, we blow up the whole thing. but I always like to see it from a positive point, that we don't do that, and that we actually make that big step forward, and then you can make it as wild as possible. That some say we even might be able to leave our physical bodies and make that next step. I love to think also along with wild ideas, but let's see.
Well, there are certain people that there's a Dutch doctor who he did heart surgeries. Van Lommel was his name.
Oh, yeah.
And he actually studied near-death experiences.
Yes.
And he is fully convinced that actually you can leave your body, and that actually there is an aftermath. But well, maybe let's not get into that.
Yeah, we can, because I read also his book, and as I'm also very interested in near-death experiences, I truly believe myself too that we are able of leaving the body, and also that when we die, that our essence remains. All the illusions, when we peel them off, we already get to our essence, and that is who we truly are. All the rest is pretty much ego, illusion. It's a nice tool we created for ourselves, our avatar, to function in this world and to have all these adventures going on. But eventually, what we truly are is our essence, I think, and that's also what Pim van Lommel says, that is what remains, and that's also what we experience when we have a near-death experience. Then what we truly are is what we go to then.
Yeah, there are certain certain people who actually newborn baby children, most of them, they don't actually know what their past life has been, but some of them they recall certain things. And it's interesting to see that even facts they tell that are you can trace them back and actually verify them or not.
I think it's also very interesting, and I know that in the scientific world there's a lot of sepsis about it, and some laughter even. But I take this topic very serious, and the shitty thing is that you cannot really study something like an after death, what's then, because you cannot, from a scientific point of view, really study it.
Well, you can do it. You can do it by yourself, but it's tricky, of course.
Some people, have had these experiences. I never had a near-death experience myself, even though I was, as a kid, also one time almost dead. But I don't recall any near-death experience.
What did you have then? What happened to you?
They removed my amandelen. How you call that in English?
Tonsils, of course.
Tonsils? Yeah, and that something went wrong, and I had to puke blood during the night. My parents, they called the doctor, but he said he was a bit tired and he didn't want to come over. Then I puked more and more blood, and then at a certain point, instead of dark blood, it became this light red blood. Later on, they said that's the new blood, and the other one was the old blood.
Oh yeah.
And but it was so much that my parents called another doctor. He came, and then it was somehow, I don't remember because so long ago it was fixed. But they later on, the other doctor that thought was that he was too tired, he got an official warning that if he would ever stay in bed again, he would lose his doctor's license because it was critical. If
Oh,
that
yeah.
the second doctor hadn't shown up,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be talking anymore here.
Okay. Well, then we wouldn't have the music now.
Neither the music.
We don't have the music. Well, you said personal. Well, you have mankind. Big changes, well, personal changes.
Mhm.
What's the big change for you to actually to become a father?
Yeah, that's my own personal big change from the last 2 years. Yeah, to become a father, and everybody who became a parent, they know what I'm talking about. That it's from one day to the other. I describe it as somebody does like poof this start shot for a competition, and you start running from the moment she's born. You start running, and you don't stop anymore. But it's also very beautiful. So it's hectic, it's time consuming, but so beautiful and all worth it. I'm enjoying every second that I'm with her, and luckily we found a way that I also still can do my hobbies here and there, but I cannot do them whenever I want anymore, like I used to.
Yeah,
Now I have to schedule it, and then when it's bad weather outside, bad luck, and I still have to go.
that's good. Well, there's another song, T.I.M.E, Time.
Yeah.
But what do those what do those mean? The T, the Y, the M, and the E. What does it mean?
Transformation, integration, metamorphosis, and what was the last one again?
E.
Yeah, the E.
I haven't written it down, but then I have to look it up. Okay, but
Yeah.
what
I
uh
almost got there out of the
yeah,
blue.
yeah. No, but what is what was the thought behind that song?
Yeah, the on the surface, it looks like it's just a song dealing about the art of dying, but the layer underneath is that the death of the ego. So, like we talked about it before a little bit, we touched upon the topic. When you peel down all the illusions and the ego dissolves, then you get to the essence, what you truly are. All the rest is ego, and I don't mean ego necessarily in a negative, as being a negative thing. It's just, yeah, what we all have, if we like it or not. It's the ego. If somebody calls you ugly, then your ego is hurt, but actually it should not even touch you. But yeah, that's one example of the thousand things what ego is. But also you want to, at a sports level, you want to be the best, everything like that. It's all the ego at play in the big story of life, and it's a beautiful thing. But many people be, be, became their ego. They became what they not actually are. They started believing in the illusion. So it's not just a playful thing anymore. That's what they actually became. And to go a step back again and peel off these illusions and come back to the core, I think that's the path also that many people are on currently, because I talk to many people, and everybody feels like there's something missing in the life that's somehow artificial. And when they are on this path, they often come to the conclusion, yeah, the ego is not what we truly are. It's just an illusion.
What I find interesting because, well, I think our first interview was in 2005 or something, 20 years ago,
Yeah.
and you just left. I just left. You were well. It was a problem with Alpha Forever.
Kindly removed from.
You were removed. You were removed in your own basement in your own home.
Yeah.
Um, but what I find really interesting is that now too you could have decided to actually be be the main principal songwriter of Epica. But I think the last few albums you have
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
I think you
True.
write less and less. I
Yeah.
guess, yeah.
Yeah. I'm now
What
really like one element of the whole team.
what and maybe it's a stupid question with all the things that you've said, but what does this do to your ego?
Yeah, that's also a process, and I think back in the days I could not have done it like this, because then the ego is a bit in the way. Indeed, you think your own ideas
The best.
better than, yeah, the best. But I came to the conclusion that that actually the strength of Epica is to everybody best ideas from everybody and combining them. Then you get the albums that really stand out. And I see
When was
also.
this? When was this? When was the
I
first?
don't think there. I don't think there's one moment in time. It's a gradual process, more and
Yeah,
more.
okay, but there has to be some sort of. It's not a smooth process, but it has to be with steps. Can you tell me one or two steps that you thought, well, hey, with this album, I was thinking, hey, now I can actually do it. Now I can actually see that the sum of everyone is even more than, well, each part.
Yeah, I never thought about when that actually happened. So I would have to go back and analyze it because I don't know any point in time. For me, it's like a smooth process, but I also observe other bands a lot. And there's other bands where they started off like one songwriter, great albums, but somehow always after a while, this one songwriter gets less inspiration and the albums sink in quality. And I always thought that should not happen to us. I think in time I realized that because if I would have kept writing the majority of the music, I'm sure it would have happened to us.
Without diminishing other bands and other albums, but is there a band you could say, well, I can fairly say that they even agree that, well, with time this happened to them because of sticking to one songwriter? Maybe Oasis, I don't know.
Oh, I wasn't thinking about Oasis, but I'm having a band in mind now, but I cannot name the band. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, and maybe other people disagree. That's also possible. But I personally think that, and it doesn't need to be a problem to have one songwriter, but I think if you have a career over 30 years, and that one songwriter keeps doing everything on its own, eventually there always comes that point that that guy is out of inspiration. It's inevitable. If that guy wants album after album write 10, 11 songs, you cannot have always that variation what you get when you write with many more people. At least that's my opinion, but
No, but I think
everybody comes to another conclusion probably.
no, but I think with, well, like, it fits the story that you've told this interview with less ego and with quality.
Yeah,
So with that in mind, was it hard to actually, like I said, well, I've been to the basement where you actually, well, rehearsed for Epic, for After Forever, and also for Epica, I
yeah,
think, first
yeah,
album.
and
It
my
was
own
also,
even.
yeah, and it was also the place where you actually got fired from After Forever.
Yeah.
How hard was it to, well, to, of how is it very special for you now to do the After Forever shows?
Yeah, that's also very special, and ego is involved in everything. When I was removed from the band back in the days, my ego was hurt, and but we talked later on, and we came to the also the conclusion with that everybody had too big egos back in the days, and that was clashing. So me, them, everybody. But it's good to see that from yourself, and that everybody has grown, and now it's completely different people. And now when we work together, everybody wants to have fun. That's the most important thing, and that's also why I'm part of it, because we want to have fun. We want to do this to have a good time, to play these old songs again, and just enjoy ourselves. And that's all about.
Yeah. May I ask you why Floor isn't involved now?
Yeah, of course, we asked her as well, and she said, "For me, it's a closed book. It's a closed thing, and yeah, you can only respect that." Of course, after that, we thought a bit, what shall we do? Maybe not do it at all. But at a certain point, we thought, yeah, if we wait forever, then maybe it's never going to happen. So that would also be a pity.
Then it's gonna happen after forever. So
Yeah, then it's literally after forever, and the chance is gone.
um, one question about the sidestep. What was it like for you to work with Sander again? Because you were friends from long ago in high school. Was
Yeah.
it the same? Was it different? Did you pick up where you left off?
Yeah, some things are the same. That's the humor. That's still the same kind of humor. And some things are really different. That, like I said, I feel a growth on a personal level, also in him, in myself, in him, also in the other guys. And if that growth had not taken place in me or in him or in anybody, it would have not happened, because then the old struggles would have come to the surface. But now it's like, how you say that in English, sand over it.
Yeah.
We have that saying in Dutch. And then it's also, we let it go without that it comes to the surface again with stuff.
Does it have a future? Or is it just one off?
The plan is one off, and if it leads to something more, then we won't stop it if it leads to anything. But the idea is this, and because I'm also myself busy enough. Epica is forever my priority, and everybody knows that. But if there would be a bit more time left somehow, and something happens, I don't say right away no, but the plan is first this, and then and nothing else.
Okay. Last question about the album. What song did you write? I mean,
the basis, because we all worked on each other's tracks as well. But the basis for Time, the Grand Saga of Existence, Darkness Dies in Light, and Metanoia.
Right. Do you have a track that's more close to your heart from these 4 songs?
Darkness Dies in Light.
Why? What is special for you about this song?
Because it's partly dealing about the birth of my daughter, and so that's very special to me. And still, when I listen to it, then I feel emotional. So that's how much it does to me. So that song is, all songs are special, but that one has that extra special touch, because for that reason.
For now, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We'll stay in touch.
Cheers.
Yo, bye.
Bye bye.